Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth episode of Breaking the Roll. Today I'm rolling with Lewis, a brown belt who I've known for about 7 years, so he knows my game in and out. I'm gonna start with my trusty entry as always, single X. Lewis defends really well, he puts pressure on his trapped knee, so it's hard to off-balance him. So I know I have to off-balance Lewis first, so I'm gonna go for the collar. I pull the collar and I switch immediately to the sleeve. As you see now, I'm still controlling the sleeve, which is very important because if you do not control the sleeve, you can base on the hand and it's gonna be very rough to swing. I use a leg lock, but not really. I just use the momentum of his movement to come up. I have no intention of going for a leg lock at this point because my position is not optimal. I'm up now, but I'm not putting enough pressure on Lewis's head so he can move freely and regain half guard. I tried to backstep a few times, but he keeps moving and he gets the half guard. So now I decide to sort out my knee, very important to sort the knee, and go for a Darce choke. I lock my hands, but I don't have a good angle here, so I have to do something to improve my angle and get the Darce choke. Here he tries to bump out, and here's a very important part. I use my leg to pull down his elbow. To lock in a good Darce, the elbow has to be close to his head, so I use my leg to relieve pressure so I can readjust my grip and get a way tighter grip on his neck. It's a really good tip and you should use it if you like Darce chokes. So now I'm going to come up to my knees and I'm gonna get his both shoulders off the mat to get maximum pressure on his neck and get the choke. I apply pressure and I get the tap. I want to get my hand cross collar really deep. I enjoy that grip up for collar legs, for single X entries, for X guard entries. But at this moment it's one of the last rounds of the training, so I'm a bit fatigued. So when I'm fatigued or I just want to get going, I'm going to do a very sloppy guard pull. So here I want to get in, but Lewis is defending well, doesn't let me get it. So here I go over his shoulder and I do a really sloppy guard pull. And now Lewis does a really cool move. So I want to control his both legs. I'm holding on to his far side foot. Lewis sees the danger. He gets up and he does a fucking Rafael Mendes style backstep and he gets my back. Really cool move, Lewis. And it put me in a whole lot of trouble, like in an instant. It was like 2 seconds and he got my back. Right away I start fighting to get my shoulders on the mat and get my hips free outside his legs. But Lewis, he has an amazing conditioning and it's always a real fight because he does not get tired. It's really frustrating from time to time, but his conditioning is really amazing. So I almost escape, but he regains his hooks and now I have to start fighting again to get my hooks free. So now you see me controlling his both legs. My hip is completely free and I'm gonna put all of my weight on his belly and I'm gonna move my both legs outside of his legs and I'm gonna essentially get free and get the pass. Control. Very important part here is that you maintain balance the whole time. If you fall, then you're in a lot of trouble. You have to move at your own accord. That's the most important part about this movement. I get on top and as you see I've already passed his both legs almost. But he regains half guard, so I go for the stack pass right away, trying to put pressure. But as I said before, Lewis does not get tired. I'm bringing his knee as close as possible to his head. He switches over to turtle and I keep control of his hip. Very important to keep the hip. I switched to my favorite side because I always like to be on the right side. It's my favorite side, especially for the rear naked choke. I like to always enter with my right hand first, or for lapel chokes, also my favorite side. Now I'm looking to get in my hooks, of course, but Lewis is keeping a perfect balance. He's keeping his head very close to the mat and his hands are connected to his chin, so it's almost impossible for me to get a choke going. So here I get the body locking, which is a really useful tool in controlling someone who's very explosive, and especially if you want to take a bit of a rest whilst you're attacking his neck. Here I almost pull Lewis over to get him off balance, but he regains his posture. He keeps everything very tight. I cannot seem to get my hands in, which is very frustrating, especially when you're tired and you're on his back. You want to get the finish, but you're just not getting underneath that chin. He keeps your hands away. Very frustrating little part. The last thing I'm gonna try to do, you'll see here right in a minute, is I'm gonna go under his arm. I'm gonna use his lapel to off balance him. I'm gonna go behind the shoulder. I'm gonna pull the lapel towards me, and it's successful. I off balance him, but sad enough, it's time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this 4th episode of Breaking the Roll. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.